What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people. Your home for instant reactions, and we are reacting live to Game 1 right after the finish. Oh, we were supposed to go live. We forgot about that one.
It's fine.
It's fine. All right, boys. Knicks take Game 1. Close game up until about the end there, and the Knicks pulled away. Finished by with a 10-point win. Overall reactions, guys. First takes. What'd you think?
Do you want me to rip through my notes? I was writing.
Yeah, sure. Rip through notes.
Go for it, Joe.
There are no order and not specific by team, but I'm just going to say them as I saw them. De'Aaron Fox, bad.
Yes, agreed.
3 of 12, 7 points. It's not gonna get it done. The strength and weight, Mitchell Robinson and Cat giving Wemby fits in the paint.
Yes.
Till the very end there, he had a little bit of success against it. Seal blocks. Effective on Wemby. We saw it earlier in the playoffs. The Knicks,
the Gortat screen thing.
Yeah, implementing it here, definitely working well. Big thing though that I did see was when Wemby wasn't on the floor, the Knicks were dominating those minutes. They went straight into the paint, ended that 13-point lead that the Spurs had in the third quarter. That kind of seemed to me like the turning point. Timeout, get Wemby back in the game. But at that point, it seemed like the tide had already turned. But for me, the biggest part of all of this was it seemed like the Spurs were really forcing it. Like they didn't seem comfortable in their own skin, and they were living and dying by whatever was working at the moment. The 3-point shot was working early, and they kind of seemed to stick with it. When things got tough, they just were putting them up. They didn't seem to have like a game plan, really, in my mind, an organized game plan. Also would like to see much more Dylan Harper there late in the game. Didn't have a whole lot of that, which seemed like a miss.
That's got to be the biggest adjustment. Where was Dylan Harper? What are we doing here? Like, why is De'Aaron Fox playing 37 minutes? Everybody knows it. Reddit was all over, De'Aaron Fox bad. That was like kind of a headline I kept seeing. Harper, 6 of 10, 16 points, 27 minutes. I was looking for him. I'm like, where is this guy? He get back on the court. He was the best player in the game, besides Karl-Anthony Towns for the first 3 quarters. I like Towns in the game.
Yeah,
we can get into that a little bit. But Brunson, Jalen Brunson, guys, he looked like he was about to we're gonna have to go full Ewing theory on this, where it's like, can the Knicks win without him, right? And then all of a sudden he just explodes. It's the most ridiculous fade midi. To kind of seal the game, put him up 6, I think it was.
Yeah, bumped and falling away from the basket, all of it.
Unbelievable. He just looked at anytime he touched the ball and had a little bit of space, it was going to go in, and it finally did in the fourth. So,
yeah, no, I think he had when that Spurs made that late run in the last couple of minutes there. He had 2 sort of bad possessions going against Wemby, where Wemby clearly changed his shot. There was the one where he didn't end up going to the basket. There was a one where he missed a kind of a floater, but then he adjusted. And then that third possession coming down, that was when he got the rebound, and then the ball kicked back around and he got the 3 in the corner. But that was just a perfect play by him, where he kind of, it took him a minute to settle in to figuring out that length of Wemby and how he was affecting him. But once he figured it out, he was able to find the spots to pick them apart. And then I think you saw it. Then it started to snowball, like you said, Chris, and they pulled away there at the end and kind of sealed the deal. So,
yeah, I mean, if you looked at the field goal attempts from this game for the Knicks, you'd think this game was extremely one-dimensional from them. Brunson put up 31 shots, 12 of 31. But everybody else was relatively efficient. Karl-Anthony Towns, 7 of 15 with 18 points. Bridges, only 9 points with 3 of 6. It was just Brunson was clutch when they needed him. The Spurs were very one-dimensional when it came down to it. Wemby had 26. He was 6 of 21 from the field.
But he struggled. His 26 wasn't
right. His 26, 13 or 12 of those came from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
6 of 21 is not.
He reminded me early in the Wolves series, where he was kind of getting pushed around, kind of put into different positions, making him uncomfortable. So I'll be curious to see, because he's not going to shoot 12 free throws every game. Yeah, he looked pretty good early. He took 9 threes, guys. Like, this guy shouldn't be taking more than 5 a game. It's weird to see Wemby now and settling for so many jump shots like that. So
yeah, I think to Joey's point, those big bodies affected them. They kept them out of the lane. They have multiple guys that size-wise match up with them. I mean, obviously nobody's Wemby's height, but they're able to push him around, keep him out of the paint. They did a good job at making him work for his points.
I mean,
watching Carl Anthony. Oh, sorry, go for it.
No, I was gonna say, like, halfway through that game, though, and not even halfway, midway through that third quarter,
Yeah.
the Knicks looked like they had nothing going.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they really didn't have anything going all game. I mean, they shot 41% from the field. Unfortunately, the Spurs followed that up with 36% from the field. So it was just, they kind of flipped, right? The Spurs had it going a little bit in the first half and in that third quarter, and then when it mattered most, they couldn't get a bucket to save their life.
Analytically, mathematically, maybe it's analytically too, but bench points wise, it was 28-20. Difference was there was 5 guys or 4 guys from the Knicks getting bench points, with Shamet, Deuce, Mitch, and Alvarado had a moment. He played 10 minutes and he was looking good in the minutes. He hit a 3. That was pretty cool to see.
Shamet was on fire.
Fantastic. It was unbelievable. Mitch Rob with that alley-oop dunk, like his broken hand or pinky or whatever they're calling it now. The only guy for the Spurs really doing anything was Dylan Harper. Cornette looked garbage out there. He was getting feasted on when Wemby had come up. Wemby's going to have to play all 48. Cornette's going to play like this. So, and Keldon only played 8 minutes. Maybe it was. I mean, he was kind of being physical. He got 3 fouls pretty quick. So maybe that played a role in it.
And he didn't seem to have too much of a shot though either. Like it wasn't going down as
he's the 6th man of the year.
Yeah.
Played 8 minutes. What are we talking about?
Yeah. I'm looking at this box score. I'm just trying to see just where they could have gotten, what I just keep falling back to is you got everything you could have out of Champagnie, probably, right? He had his moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was on his heater. You got to take that and be like, all right, dude, thanks for the contribution, but let's go somewhere else, right? You missed a few in a row.
He came out cold in the third quarter. Yeah.
Yeah. It almost it falls down. De'Aaron Fox, right, has to be better. You can't. 7 points is fine, right? You can live with the 7 points. I think you can live with it if he's not taking 13 shots, right? If it's not 13, if it's 7 points, but there's 12 assists in there, you're like, all right, hey, you did what you needed to do, but 5 assists.
Had 3 turnovers of 5 assists. Yeah,
right. 5 assists, 3 turnovers. It doesn't add up to anything useful. I just don't, like you said, Chris. How do you not put Dylan Harper in with the 6 minute mark?
That's definitely an adjustment. That's definitely got to be the adjustment. Maybe he won't start, but minutes wise,
the minutes have got to go up for him.
Even if you give it 3 minutes there, from the 6 minute mark in the fourth quarter, and say, let's see what we can do in 3 minutes with you. If it's not working, we'll go back to the veteran and see what happens.
Yeah,
it's just crazy how good Dylan Harper looked, and he just wasn't. Where'd he go?
He didn't look phased by the moment in any way, shape, or form.
Very poised. I felt like a lot of the Spurs did look poised. I mean, I think they struggled down the stretch, and they didn't get it done. The Knicks did exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah,
this Spurs
win streak keeps rolling.
These 3-pointers by the Spurs they just look so bad. Outside of Vassell was only 1 of 6, but Champagnie, I don't think he hit one. Did he hit one in the second half? He was 5 of 6 in the first, and then 0 for 4 in the second half. But besides Champagnie and Vassell, I don't trust anybody on the Spurs to really hit a 3. Because when Harper hits it, it's oh, good job, Harper. Okay. But with the Knicks, I kind of expect OG went 3 of 6. Bridges didn't even shoot one. Josh Hart, guys, 15 boards, 6 assists, 4 steals.
Yeah.
This is the kind of line that you would hope, when you're talking about De'Aaron Fox only got 7 points. Hart only got 3 points, but he had a game high plus 22 plus minus. He was the star of the game.
Did it all.
I don't know. I lost count of how many times I watched him trying to dribble into the paint into Wembanyama, only to dribble back out and try to move the ball around. He was the best part of the game. Him and Towns were just, I loved watching it. Watching Towns felt like when you see, and this is a bad analogy because it's like what you see in movies or TV shows where they talk about oh, you see your ex and you're like, oh, they look so good. They lost 20 pounds. Like, oh, that's what Karl-Anthony Towns looked like watching him out on the court. It's just like, oh, miss this guy. Like, dude,
This
it's
guy
just.
was good.
And he stayed composed in the game. He still does stupid things. He likes to touch his hand out on Wemby.
Yeah, you were going nuts in the.
I was a little surprised that call got overturned in the first. I've never seen it really overturned for an offensive foul when it was a defensive foul to begin with.
Yeah, that was.
It would only happen to guys like Karl-Anthony Towns. It was an offensive foul. It's fine, but it's just it's an interesting.
I was surprised too that it got overturned. I was like, "Ooh!" I was waiting for you to guys to call the Wemby conspiracy in the group.
Yeah, I was getting close at halftime when I brought up the free throw discrepancy thing, and like Brunson at 0, and I'm like, maybe it's regression to the mean, and it kind of regressed back in the third.
Yeah,
I thought the officiating was actually kind of okay.
Yeah, no, it was fine.
It was physical. It was physical.
It was physical. They let him play, at least in the first half, and I think that was okay. I think the Spurs might have been, to me, felt like they were still a little bit in that OKC series, doing a little bit of like flopping or waiting for a whistle that I don't think was coming there, or especially early in the game, at least what I was seeing. And then when they were able to settle in, but then they sort of reverted to jump shots.
Yeah, they didn't have much they can do in the paint. It felt like.
Yeah.
Towns had that awesome block. He only had one block in the game, and it was like a crazy moment in that. I don't know. I'm excited because like I feel like Knicks won. This is kind of what I thought would happen. You guys are stupid. I can't believe you thought about the I'm kidding, but
it's fine.
It's just
we both had the Spurs, right? I thought for some reason I was the only one.
Not like if I feel like if the Knicks lost game, I would still be like, no, the Knicks can win this. So like, how is it for you guys? Like being like, all right, the Spurs.
I think for me, this was the worst possible scenario for the Spurs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I guess the worst would have been like an absolute blowout, but I feel like both teams didn't play great. And the fact that, so it was kind of like, to me, whoever really got this one was going to have a little bit of a statement. And I think the Knicks showed that they are able to close tight games better than the Spurs right now. And then, I think if the Spurs would have won, it would have ended that 11-game streak. The conversation would have switched to, they didn't play anybody. It really would have, kind of set the tone, but the Knicks set the tone to me. And I think that was big for them. Joey, what did you think?
No, I agree wholeheartedly. I think I would have rather seen them get blown out because it would have been like, all right, they just didn't have it tonight, but they had a big lead in this game for where they were. And they've only lost 2 games this postseason when they've had a 10-point lead. They were 12-2 with a 10-point lead at any point in the game. The vibe that I was getting, and I kept like thinking of this, was like the Nuggets without Murray, right? Those playoff series where Jokic was kind of like, he was enough to get them to where they needed to go. And then when it came down to it, it was kind of like, hey, if we just isolate you, the other guys are good enough to be serviceable, but they're not enough to get you over the hump.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like I think what you're saying is perfect. Like, it was this the suck the wind out of the sails moment for the Spurs, or are they gonna? I mean, they've had a few of these moments against OKC, and they found their way back after every single one of them. So hopefully, there's some positivity floating around for them to bounce back. But I think you're right. Like, this was a game that they could win. Right?
Yeah,
this was within reach. It had every opportunity for them to go and get it, and for them to see the Knicks go out and those last 8 minutes were all theirs, and San Antonio didn't have a thing to say about it. It's not ideal.
It does remind me a lot of the OKC series, where I feel like the Spurs are their better team. I just don't know if they're going to win the series. I still think they can. I still think they can win the series. I don't think it's over. I think if they come back and have a monster game in game 2, kind of resets things going back to New York, but certainly puts them in the driver's seat.
Yeah, Wemby's going to have to be.
Wemby's going to have to have a game.
He's going to have to be physical. He's going to have to just. I mean, late in the game there, right? Under 3 minutes, whatever. He put his shoulder into Cat.
Yeah,
he's going to have to do that. He's going to have to do a lot more of that. He's going to have to.
Get and apparently that's not a. They almost wanted to challenge it, but they decided not to, and I guess because he was out of position, dude. I don't understand.
Look like a clean
play,
man. If Cat didn't flail at his arms on the way down, probably wasn't a foul at all.
A flailing man.
It's a flailing man.
No, I think this is. a big win for New York.
Uh-huh.
I think Wemby's got to show up games 2 and 3. I think now we start looking at you got to get that the first one in New York. I think too, but
well, I think the issue is like when I look at the Knicks, I'm like, this was Michael Bridges' first game not getting at least 10 points. There's other guys on New York that can still like contribute at a high level. Hart only had 3, right?
Yeah.
He had a great game otherwise. But outside of Wembanyama and Castle, who's showing up? And Champagne had a good game. Like Fox, we need 20 points from him, I guess, right? Or Harper to hit 30 or start. Like
you need. I mean, I think the thing with the Spurs, and this may be where they can't rise up to this level, is they need Wemby and like Dylan Harper to ascend to that point to become those guys that can win a series. And I don't know if that's there just yet. I mean, those guys are 1 and 3 years in,
they're
so
20 years old.
Yeah, 20 years old, man. I mean, if they can do it, Jesus Christ! But
20 and 22, right?
I just don't know if it's there against these guys. I think these guys are ready to go.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see what everybody was fearing for Wemby was up against size. What does that do to the game plan? And not just height. It was weight and strength, and it
with Mitch Rob and Towns. I don't even think it was OG. I didn't even notice OG on Wemby.
He didn't play on Wemby a lot, so that's still a card they could play. I do feel like the Spurs seemed to have a good advantage with the guards. They were getting some turnovers and defending really well early on in the game, so there's something there. But like you said, Chris, Knicks still have a lot of guys that can play a lot better. So
yeah.
Anything else, boys?
No, Friday's going to be fun. The adjustments should be interesting to see, and I feel like we're going to see an all-timer from the Alien. Freak
from him, or
well,
every time he's had a mediocre game or a game where it wasn't perfect, he's come out and been pretty spectacular right after it. So I would expect him to,
especially dribbling off his foot there and taking a bad 3 in the last couple of minutes. Didn't look good.
That was during the broadcast. Like I think it was Richard Jefferson who said, like, all right, you gotta give the Fox the ball here and do some PNR.
Yeah.
And Castle brought it up, gave it to Wemby. Wemby turns it over.
Ooh. Can't do that.
How many turnovers did Wemby have? 6,
7.
So he was the worst in this game. Fox with 3. Turnovers wasn't even that big of an issue. I don't know.
No, it's just
this is poor shooting.
Yeah.
It was just really poor. It was poor shooting and bad shot selection.
Yeah. One last little note I had that I thought was funny. So the Champagne 5 threes in the half. After that happened, it goes to halftime. I'm scrolling a little bit on the internet, and I see the Jordan Shrug game, and I realize that is after he hit 6 threes in a half.
Oh, against
Portland. Against Portland, and it was just weird how much the game has changed because that's like an iconic moment. And everybody remembers Jordan. He had, he was unstoppable on fire, and is this random third-year guy, role player on the Spurs almost did the exact same thing in today's game.
It was normal. He just kept shooting.
He just kept shooting. It was crazy, man. But
you might get 15 of these. Doesn't matter.
Well, that came after, was it Deuce McBride hit that bank corner 3?
I don't remember. I might have been.
He did like a shrug.
He did a shrug.
Yeah, that was a wild 3.
It's like I don't think I've seen a banked corner 3 like that. It was an interesting angle.
Just a kiss off the glass.
Not as much of a kiss as Wemby's off the side of the glass there.
That was rough.
All right. Well, that is it for us tonight. This will be in your feeds first thing tomorrow morning, or this morning. You're listening right now. You're in it. It's late for us. All right. We will be back next week to talk more NBA Finals. Thank you guys for joining us. Like, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, and all that. So thank you very much. Till next time, guys. Box out.